Have you ever wanted to add collage to your journal or scrapbooking pages, but you were a little scared because you just weren't fully committed to an entire page of collage? Or maybe you're new to collage and you're not quite sure how to make it all work without creating a big jumbled mess of color and shape and pattern. I have figured out a way to add teeny tiny bits of collage to my journal spreads. And I'm going to show you in this video how to make these collage stickers from labels and old stamps. Welcome to Stellar J Studios. I am Gina and I am so happy you are here with me today. For those of you guys who have been with me for a while, you know that I typically hand make my journals, but I got suckered into this strawberry shortcake journal. I saw it at a $5 store and I just couldn't pass it up because, well, I'm a strawberry shortcake freak from way back in the 80s. And I've been using this journal as like my daily diary. And each morning I wake up and I write in it. Now, this page right here, I'm going to show you a sneak peek, there it was, of a handmade stamp that I'm not going to go into too much detail right now. I have another video where I will showcase that, but it's going to be showing its face in my good junk mail for May. But the reason why I'm showing you this is because I've gotten back into carving some handmade stamps. And I just use like Dollar Tree erasers and some little stamp carving tools. You can get them at art supply stores. But the reason why I'm showing you that is because in my project, I'm going back into my old rubber stamping days. And so yeah, I've tried to make some stamps to add to my collection. So for my stickers, I'm going to use some labels. Now, these are some labels that I picked up at a thrift store. I feel like every time I go to a thrift store, I find a jumble of labels that people, have donated. So you can use, mine just happened to be rectangular, but you can use any kind of labels or any kind of sticker paper. You could also just use regular paper, and instead of it being self-adhesive, you just have to add glue. So I'm showing you here how I've added these little things into my journal. And you can see that it's subtle, especially on that page with the dresses. And that's what I'm going for. I'm just looking for a bit of collage to add to my journal pages. Now, I have a collection of stamp pads from way back in my scrapbooking days, and some of them work well and some of them are kind of dried up. I have found that using a neutral background works really well to kind of bring all of the stamps or my stickers together. So I just kind of went over it with like that beige color. I also showed you one where I went over the background with some green paint. And what I found was that it was really hard to put those into my journal pages. And I'm just kind of showing you some of the different stamp pads that I have, some of my inks. You can use archival, you can use water-based, and I'm just now taking some stamps that I have in my stash and just kind of stamping around on the labels. And I'm not really paying attention to how I'm stamping. I'm stamping in all different directions, and I'm using different colored inks. I'm kind of trying to keep the color palette the same, although I really don't know what my color palette is until I get to the end, but it just so happens that these or these little collage stickers ended up more on the warm side, meaning I used a lot of reds and browns and yellows. So that stamp right there, that table number, oh my gosh, that's like one of my favorite stamps ever. I don't know where I got it. I'm not for sure. Maybe Paper Source. Okay, so this stamp right here, the one that says so stylish. Yeah, another sneak peek into my May good junk mail. Again, I have a video where I'll go over all of that. And that stamp pad I just showed you, That's one of my favorite stamp pads. It has worked for a long time and it's super juicy. Now this red, I love pops of red in these collage sticker sheets. And I just really love that one stamp that says variety. It's just a random stamp. It came from this set and I'm showing you right here. Um, I don't even know where I got it, honestly, but it was about, I don't know. I know that little stamp I'm using right now was about getting a perm. How many of you guys got perms back in the 80s? Or how many of you guys still get perms? I remember back in the 80s, oh my gosh, I would get a perm in my hair every 6 weeks. Um, yeah, like I can't even believe it. And now my hair is curly and I didn't know that. So I probably was perming my hair and didn't even realize that it was naturally curly. That chandelier stamp, now that was a dollar stamp. I know I got it out of the dollar bin at Michael's. I don't even know if they still have the dollar bin anymore, but it was one of my favorites. This is a camera and it might have come from Paper Source. Oh, there's that little dress again. So now that I've got this little background done, I want to highlight this dress. So I'm using a darker color. I'm using this dark green. I think it's called Pine Needles, and I love the color. So when I made this, I realized, and I'm still practicing making more of these little collage stickers. They're addictive, but I realized that if I start with like lighter colors in the background, and then as I build up the layers, I use more dark colors and more contrasting colors. So you can see I'm waiting to use black until the very top, and that's what I'm putting on right now is some black, and I think I even mixed it with that blue. And it's just this little frame, and I don't have any, like, as I'm putting this stuff on, I am not thinking about where it's going, what I'm doing. All I'm doing is just adding elements. Now, comparing it to the one that I had made earlier, this one seems a lot like busier. It's a lot more full, and that's okay. But what I'm going to do now is I'm going to go back and I'm going to tone it down a bit. So this is a little correction pin. I got it from the Dollar Tree. It's like a little whiteout pin, and I like it because it covers pretty well. And what I'm going to do is just go in and kind of add some of my own little elements. I'm just going to draw with that little pen. And then I'm also filling in some of the spots that maybe seem a little too busy. Now, it's not completely opaque. It does allow some of the ink to show through, which is kind of cool. It gives it a little whimsical touch, but it's toning down some of the background noise. So I love the background noise, but I've found that in true Gina style, I go overboard because I can't stop. And so I have to go back and tone it down. I'm also taking this paint marker and I'm going back in with some green, again, trying to just add some contrast and some, I don't know, I guess consistency where I'm not letting that busy background take over. Placing a few more little stamps here. This is yellow. I felt like I needed to brighten it up a bit, so I'm just taking and adding a little bit of that yellow. And now I've got this little marker. I think this one's a Tombow, but I'm just going through and adding a little bit of blue, not a lot. So here's a tip. Do not saturate whatever you, especially if you're using like labels or something that's sticky on the back, try not to saturate it. If you saturate it, you're going to have a hard time getting that adhesive to work, and then you're going to have to add glue to your stickers, which I do not oppose adding glue to my stickers, especially because I use a lot of old stuff that the sticker doesn't work anymore. So I'm almost done here. I'm going to get to this point where I have this beautiful two collages. But the problem is I'm seeing it as one whole piece, and then I'm going to treat it as it's too precious. So what I'm going to do here, I'm going to cut it apart. And I have to cut it apart because I will think that this is too precious and I won't use it. And that is not what I am intending this for. I want to use this. So once I get through adding a few little marks, I'm going to cut this into, I'm actually just doing like a little section of 3 labels each. And then I'm able to treat it as more of like an element that I can add to my journal rather than this one really precious piece of art. So here I go. I'm going to cut it down, and then I'm going to try to pull out pieces that I want to use in my journal. And I'm just kind of showing you with my hands here all the different elements that I have and how I want to make sure that I treat this as these little pieces rather than one big whole. Truth be told, I did this video and I talked through it, and I know better because it never works. So yeah, the first one was a talkie, and then I deleted all my talking and went back and did a voiceover. So I'm going to use this spread right here. Okay, so on the right-hand side, I have more cool colors, and I know that the way these little stickers ended up, they're more warm. So I'm going to add them to the left-hand side. And so I'm just going to cut little pieces out. And as I cut the pieces out, I now start to see these as little individual stickers rather than one big piece. And so I put down that red loop-de-loo, and I thought, okay, let's find another loop-de-loo in my sticker collage and see if I can add that. And again, it's just adding little elements to my journal page that I have here. And as I'm doing it, I'm totally, like, I did not plan this at all. It's just happening in real time here. But I love how it's just adding this little unexpected bit to this journal spread. And so I, in fact, did a little fussy cutting on this sticker because I wanted that shape. But no worries, I'm not going to let anything go to waste. I'll find another place for the other part. And now I'm just going to go back and add a few more pin marks to kind of blend it in with what I've got going on in this journal page. And so I'm pretty much done here. I might go back and add a few more. One of the things I did do was I actually, and I'll show you here in just a second, I actually went in and cut out one of the frames that had that little dress in it, which the dress was stamped over 2 different labels. So it was actually 2 pieces. And I put it on this page, and I really liked how it looked. And it added there was like a little bit of space between the 2 labels. And I thought that was kind of cool. All right, my friends, we are here at the end. I encourage you to give this a try. Get out your old stamps and your ink pads and find some sticky labels and see what you can come up with. I hope you are inspired by this. I hope you're healthy. I hope you're happy. And I hope you do something creative today. Until next time, bye-bye.